JJ.
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, everybody, welcome on in. Thanks for being with us on the program. Happy Tuesday afternoon to you. Alex Keary, Jeremiah Jensen, together we make up JJ and Alex. What's up, JJ? Looking good today,
Like
man.
peanut butter and jelly.
Look, I got the collar
You're
shirt
buttoned up too.
I'm trying to look like you.
I actually like that. You get the shirt, the stripey thing.
What
going
I
on
did
there.
was I kind of went in your color wheel
Throw a nice.
because I'm a pale-faced man like yourself, and so I thought, this probably isn't my color.
Oh no, that works. So what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do now is you go get a flat tie, no stripes or anything on your tie.
It's like a solid
Solid tie.
tie.
Find a color that really pops. You're good to go.
All right. Then I'm gonna hit the top of my head with some powder, and then we won't blind anybody with the cameras.
Gotta do that. You gotta powder.
Have to.
You
Have
gotta
to.
powder.
I love it. Hey,
The lights are cruel.
Team USA, rolling. They were already coming in as 28 point favorites in this one over Brazil.
They're just playing with their food right now.
Yeah, Brazil. I don't know how this happens. I think just because there was not good basketball in their group, but they got through the group play at 1-2. So you had some bad basketball in that group.
Well, this is what the benefits of being the number one team in the world.
Yes, and so you get to play the
You get Brazil in the quarters.
Yeah, so it's 3:45 left in the fourth. Team USA up 32 currently against Brazil, 112-80, rolling. You pointed this out too. I don't know. I mean, we're past the Nene times. We're past the Howell Neto times. Brazil has no person that we could name from the in the NBA, right?
Not off the top
I
of my
don't see
head.
any
No
of
one
these
recognizable names. If there's somebody there probably is, but it's just not a big name, not somebody you'd recognize. Like we watched games earlier today. By the way, great games. The game off Australia went to overtime with Serbia advancing.
Yeah.
That was great. And then France beat. Who did they beat?
Canada.
Canada.
Team
That's
Canada,
right.
man.
Team Canada. So France is moving on.
It's a shame to see Dylan Brooks go out.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks pounding on the bench. We've seen that before. And then Rudy
Oh.
Gobert sitting down the stretch.
One of my favorite Canadian basketball players, Lou Dort, in the house, but not able to get it done.
Canada a little disappointing going out in the quarters.
Yeah, I
but,
thought for
tough
sure.
bracket there.
I was hoping that there was going to be some sort of an American matchup with Canada because that's when you want,
That would have been fun.
They beat him They beat him down in Vegas, though, didn't they?
They did,
in
but it was
little
close.
warm-ups.
Remember, we
It
were
was
so
close.
worried about Team USA.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if they put the right team together.
Yeah, give me the gold, man.
Why didn't they put Jaylen Brown on the team and all that?
me
We
the
look
gold.
back on all that stuff and Steve Kerr not playing, Jason Tatum, and it's like it all sounds ridiculous because again they're just going to roll.
I have this feeling every time I watch the Olympics too, where because we see ourselves as the main character, obviously that's how we do it. We watch all the American events. I mean, this is. Look, we're in America. We're watching
It
American.
feels like, even though it's in France,
Olympics.
it feels like our event.
Right.
The Olympics are
Right.
ours.
There's a part of me that goes. There's a skit. I'm going to turn you on to a show called that Mitchell and Webb look. It's out of. It's like a BBC Three kind of.
British comedy.
It's British comedy. It's funny and they're
a
dressed
lot of
up.
laughs and bad teeth.
It is. I'll tell you. And one of the skits is that these guys they're SS, they're dressed as like SS, like Nazi officers.
Of course.
And he's like, hey, Bill, are we the baddies? He's like, are we the bad guys? and he's like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, our hats have skulls on them. Do you think that might be an indicator that we're the bad guys? And there's part of me sometimes that goes, hey, are we the bad guys in this, in the Olympics? And you can't say no because you know that the American standard for a lot of these sports is the highest standard. And so you've got the target on the back situation. And yeah, you know what? We're the bad guys. We are Ivan Drago.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm telling you that we're We're the ones training in that. Wasn't he at like a space camp? It was like they were like testing his blood, and they're like, and he's hitting those little pounds per square inch.
They're pumping uranium into his blood cells.
Whatever they were doing. And he's like literally murdering his sparring partners while Rocky's out there chopping wood.
They're dragging out dead bodies that Drago killed in the ring.
We think that we're the ones. We think that we're Rocky and we're chopping down trees. We're Ivan Drago, man. Especially in basketball.
Feels that way.
All right. Anyway.
But who's going to be the Rocky? That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't want it to be Brazil. And frankly, I don't want to be anybody in basketball. But, I think like the gal who won the 100 meters against Sha'Carri Richardson, right?
Yeah.
That's from St. Lucia.
Yeah.
That's a Rocky situation.
That is a Rocky moment.
We sort of crowned Sha'Carri Richardson before everything started up. So, anyway. Got off to an Olympic start here. So I was just wondering, Team USA up now 35. 117 to 82, and just under 2 minutes left. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Let's kick off our program. JJ and Alex is always brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, and nutritious boost. Let's kick off the show as we always do. We've got the cut. We've got a lot for you today. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com for your retirement needs, TrajanWealth.com. So here's what we've got planned today. We are going to jam as much camp sound as we can from BYU, Utah State, everybody, okay? And as soon as... And we're crossing our fingers on this one because it's been working a little bit, mostly, to get players on with us or coaches from any of these schools that finish up today. We'll bring you those as soon as we get those as well. So all the schools nice enough to play ball, and we've got sound from all of them. Let's start. It's a weird day down in Provo because they still don't have a quarterback. I say it's a weird day. It's actually just business as usual because
it sounds like Groundhog Day, actually.
We had an exchange during our pre-show kind of text back and forth. And Jeremy asked a question. He's like, I can't tell if Kalani's being serious here or if he's just kind of feeding us a line of garbage. I think that there is a little bit of a mix. But if you thought that Kalani talking about 4 quarterbacks was wild, go ahead and take a listen to this one.
They kind of go back and forth, and so I don't know if it's enough yet to separate them. But it's also difficult when you're working with the one O-line compared to working with the twos. And so we're taking that into account, and also with the receivers and the DBs, so that are going against them. So when we factor it all in, it's more who can get the team to execute the best and make sure we're not making mistakes. But a lot of that is not the quarterback. I think the quarterback's doing a great job, and I would say all 4 of them. We made some mistakes today, threw some picks. It's okay. I think that's more defense making plays than anything else. I'm really pleased with the way the progress. I want to see the progress of the quarterback position with all those guys. And talked about the 4 quarterbacks, but it's also with Cole Hagen. So all the guys are getting better, and I think the quarterback position is improving quite a bit every day.
Kalani's messing with us, isn't he?
Whoa, we got a 5th quarterback in the mix.
When you have 5 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Isn't that the old saying?
It still applies, yes.
5 quarterbacks. You throw Cole Hagen's name in there. I really do think that they're like, look, we don't need to tell you guys anything. In fact, we're not going to tell you anything. Oh, some mistakes made today, some picks were thrown. I'm like, there it is right there then. Cut those guys. Who made the most mistakes today?
Cut all of them.
No, I'm just saying who made the most mistakes.
They don't want you to know that.
Gone.
It's like a reality show.
Yes, please. At this point, please. Now, I know we're only second week into camp, and that sounds brutal. But
hey, McKay Hillstead, I've noticed you just been on the zip line the whole time we've been here.
Did you throw 3 picks today? Grab your playbook. Meet A-Rod in the quarterback room. Actually,
pretty sure he's just here for the zip line.
We want to transition you into anything to get these guys excited about being out there. I'm telling you, I don't know what the thing is, and what do you need to see? And I know that there's a lot that goes into, interceptions during camp. I know there's a lot, but at this point, and again, I'm not asking them to narrow it down to QB1, but it does seem like it's probably not this bad, right? When you hear this and you go, oh, yeah, all 4 quarterbacks did a great job today, and then even Cole, really, a 5th, you could throw Cole Hagen in there, former Corner Canyon state champion. And there you go. And I guess I could see all that, but really this seems like a game that he's playing a little bit with having to give you an answer, but not really wanting to give you anything. And that's a way to add even more not giving you anything to the pile. And that is they got 5 quarterbacks who are all working out with the 1s and 2s. Are you kidding? It's a lot. It
is a lot. And as each day goes by, I think the little more nervous you get if you're a BYU fan. It's like, okay, we have a race here, right? This is a quarterback race. Is this a sprint or a marathon? Because if this is a marathon, that's not good for us. I think you need at least 2 guys to be emerging by the end of the week. But somebody's got to separate themselves.
Yeah, let's go.
You can't, as a coach, force somebody to do that. You got to let it play out. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want to overreact. I'm not sitting there watching these quarterbacks. We're just going by what Kalani's telling us. If you got 5 guys that are getting reps in your practices that you're talking about with the media, maybe there's a smoke screen there, but I also think that there's some truth in that they're really searching here. They're giving everybody in their camp a chance, including Cole Hagen, to go out there and see what he can do. It's just a little unnerving that they don't have a guy that is breaking away right now and separating himself. It's camp. Like, you got games in 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
When's the season opener? The 31st?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that for Utah?
August 6th.
Yeah, we're there. You got to, hey, listen, I think you should be a little bit more understanding of JJ and I, all right? Hey, BYU, it's much more fun for us to talk about an actual quarterback who might be getting some starts versus I don't want to have to do research on 5 guys. Come on.
I disagree. I'm fine doing the homework.
Hey,
it's making August more interesting.
Hey, you know what?
I don't have what are we talking about with Utah? Business as usual.
Yes.
Nothing, just going through the motions.
Right, and you know what you do? We find position groups. You find position groups where there is like a little bit of a battle. You get the running backs. You get a bunch of wide receivers in there, right?
It just doesn't have the sizzle of the quarterback thing. No. Quarterback battles are fun with 2 guys. When you got 5, oh my gosh, quintuple your pleasure.
Come on, it's a quinterback. Let's trademark it now.
Quinterback, get out of here.
T-shirts.
Get out of here. Broncos like, we're running a quinterback system.
The year of the quinterback.
It sounds like
problem is you can't go you have 4 quarters, so maybe you get the 5th quarterback in overtime.
Oh yeah, he'll get a shot in OT. Yeah, I get it.
You got to spread out the reps during the season.
Okay, well I'll tell you this: spreading out the reps actually does take away more reps from the folks who are going to end up. Whoever the starter is going to be, they're getting fewer reps today, or at camp every day. They're getting fewer reps when they're sharing it like this. And I get it. You're kind of going through the whole tryout situation. It's great, right? Except for, you've got this playbook you got to get down. And guess what they're doing? They're trying to install a bunch more plays. They're trying to get it all figured out. And those younger guys, if they can't keep up with the playbook, it's going to be a struggle.
I would have to say we probably have way more in terms of install with our offense and defense than we've had in years past, and it's hurting some of the young guys that haven't been around. It's just we just have to do it that way to get the team ready. So if there's mistakes, it's mostly the young guys, and we had some administrative mistakes today, a bobbled snap, offsides, false starts, stuff like that. So we'll clean that up, but that's part of it. It's got to be a lot better in terms of execution.
Wait. So what did you say happened? There were mistakes. He said administrative mistakes. It made it sound like
administrative failures.
Like the AC didn't turn on in the student-athlete building. What was the first part, though, that he said? He said something about that's what it is. The younger guys are the ones who are making all the mistakes, right? That's what he said. Get him out of here. I've got my making cut hat on today. You should throw picks? Yep. Are you young? Yep. See you next year. You'll be a part of this conversation next year.
Well, nobody's young at BYU, too. At least that's what all the opposing coaches tell us.
I like that 29-year-old that got back there. A good kid, mature.
Yeah, a very mature group, a gritty, mature group.
I think they got 4 kids apiece. All right.
Look, again, if your young guys are making mistakes, the fact that it's still a 4-way thing or 5 guys are getting the looks tells you that the older guys, the more experienced guys, aren't pulling away. Like, that's...
no one's separating.
What are we, week in now?
Tons of talent or no talent? That's the question. That's really what it is. Tons of talent or no talent?
There's talent, but there's not enough talent to separate.
Yeah. All right.
And that's the thing. You're right. How concerned should we really be? Are we overreacting to this?
Yeah, always, because that's our job. JJ, I was just going to remind you, This is a sports talk show. We need to overreact. It's part of our deal.
Well, I'm ready.
So here is the other thing. We had A-Rod saying this team's way ahead of where they were last year. That's like the clarion call of camp. Remember when we were talking about this last week? He was like, "Oh yeah, we're ahead of where we were last year," which is like funny because I think they said the same thing last year, the year before. But Kalani talked about the fact that you do at this point have a ton of corrections that you still need to make, and whether it's the administrative stuff like he was talking about, there are a lot of mistakes being made in camp early.
I mean, the mistakes are fixable in terms of just focus. The other mistakes that are happening is getting the guys the opportunity to make plays. I know there's a lot going in there, and it benefits the guys that have been around longer and been used to this offense and defense. And so the young guys, it's one of those things where the classroom has to move as fast as what we need to get done, rather than and a lot of those guys just have to drink from a fire hose right now. Just get used to it, and the more they study, the more they spend time on it, I think the easier it'll be. And they're getting reps, and we'll just have to keep working with it.
Are these offenses installed on college football 2025? Like, is it the same offenses, or is it all just the same? It's the same plays that we've all played with growing up on that game.
Sure.
Maybe you get them on there. Get the playbook on there. Can you install that playbook? Can you have the amended playbook put in there for these guys? If you're BYU or, frankly, any program across the country, you get a hold of EA Sports and go, can we put these 19 plays in just for my guys? They want to train. Let's use this game for what it should be used for. An actual simulator. We need this thing. We need these guys to learn the playbook. All jokes aside, mistakes being made, that's part of what you hear how amazing things are going up at the University of Utah. You think Kyle Whittingham isn't blowing plays dead and getting pissed? Of course he is.
Is it a post-practice topic?
No.
Is it a post-practice topic?
So does that
Utah
worry you
State?
then? Does that worry you to have to hear, yeah, they're mistakes and they make them?
Worry slightly. You would hope they're talking about something being made as progress.
Yeah.
Something that's a breakthrough or something positive. Look, I'm not saying that they need to paint a picture that's not there. I appreciate the honesty and the candor. We all do. That's why we do this. That's why we want to hear from them.
Mm-hmm.
They're human, and they're going to make mistakes in camp. It just feels like that's an overriding topic when you would hope to hear about some more positive developments is all. And maybe
I
that'll
can see
come.
that.
Maybe next week, this talk about mistakes, it goes away. Maybe next week, after they have their first scrimmage of fall camp, some things separate, some things open up, because you go through camp, and camp is it's a grind, right? You're not playing in games, but maybe we get out there in a scrimmage and a little bit of a bright light there gets an extra gear out of one of these quarterbacks, or there's a star that makes a play or something. Anything positive right now. Because we all knew going into the season, like, this program, there's challenges here where they could go either way. Like, they could get to a bowl game. They could get to 7-5. But I could also see them going 3-9. Like, you can see that one way or the other, things could break. Like, what if some injuries start cropping up? You know what I mean? So you see the fluctuation in possibilities with this team. You're hoping the fluctuation in camp turned into a positive direction for them. And it's still early. Like, I'm trying not to overreact, but I want to see some positive development here. Something we're talking about is like, hey, so-and-so had a great day. Hey, the quarterback, no mistakes. Like, Retzloff was just lights out today, right? That's what I want to start hearing. Or Gary Bohannon is really taking command,
right,
showing his veteran leadership. Like, we
need
to start hearing those comments.
And when you see those slow motion highlights from practice, like, let's do more of those. Let's see that quarterback throwing that ball. Let's see the guy on the release of that, not just the catch. And
you're a fan listening right now. What do you want to see and hear from this team right now?
Are you okay with
like there's progress being made?
Yeah,
even if it's small. And I'm not trying to overreact to all this stuff, like the mistakes and like the 5 quarterbacks and all this stuff, but like you talk about Utah and Utah State. They know who their guys are, and that's a different conversation. Different places, different. It's apples and oranges. I get it, but like BYU needs to start getting some of these things sorted out and figured out for them to be able to move forward and progress and have success this season. Because the longer it drags out, like you're saying, like there's installs, there's things you need to work on. You need to know who your guy is to get more of those reps in. The more you have to spread out the reps, the further you fall behind with your quarterback's development with whoever's going to be there.
Don't you feel like but I do think that him throwing out Cole Hagen's name, like in addition to the other 4 quarterbacks that are working out, you know, I've covered a lot of camps over the years, and there's a lot of politics that have to be played by these coaches. They got to get these kids that come in, and it's like, hey, throw them a bone. Say something about how good he's been.
Cole Hagen probably did play well.
Of course. I mean, the guy's a preferred walk-on. So he's not like they're going, we could barely keep this guy. How are we going to keep him?
It's jarring because we didn't know he was in the mix.
I get it. There's a lot of guys with green jerseys on throwing the football around because there's always, 8 guys in green jerseys at BYU's, fall camp. You don't want all 8 splitting reps. You don't want 5. You don't want 4. We barely even want 2 splitting reps right now. But, again, a few weeks away, and we do the overreaction thing. We do because we forget, too, that this is just that – we're in the middle of that what's it going to be? Because it's about a week prior or about 10 days prior, they start to go into full game prep of their first opponent. When it changes over from camp to game prep, right? Getting ready for Southern Illinois, right? And by then – you still might not have a starter, but what you have then at that point, everything's been installed. Starters top to bottom are all figured out. And by the way, there are other positions where other battles are going on.
Of course.
Where guys are going to earn their spot. Where a third string guy who you don't know his name right now, he might end up getting. That's when we get Mitch Harper on and he'll go, oh yeah, a name you were starting to hear pop up more and more is this guy and this guy who you were waiting maybe another season to hear from, or you forgot about that return missionary that you thought was going to take a little bit extra time. This happens every year. And the 5 quarterbacks is concerning, but the reality is they're doing this at every position every year anyway. So it's not fun to not have a quarterback, but they've been hashtag blessed down in Provo with a lot of, just like non-quarterback battles in the most recent years. And so that's why it's a little frustrating. Even the Keaton Slovis thing at this point last year, you could just – there was a sigh of relief of you don't have to talk about splitting reps.
Which actually, you look at the start of the season last year, and I think that helped them. Like they needed to have a guy. And the impact that has on your team's preparation for a season, it's not a huge deal. But it is a little concerning that there's no separation yet. At least 2 guys haven't separated to where they would publicly say that. But that's all right. Let the competition continue.
Yeah. I'm all for it. And I think Kalani's like, I'm happy to throw 5 quarterbacks' names out there because we know what's going on in this room. So, in the end, we're not the coaches at BYU. And fans might be a little bit frustrated with hearing 5 quarterbacks are getting reps. But that's part of the deal. All right.